Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia. With me always is Scott Bogman, and of course it's you. And today, obviously, we're talking about the props for the big game, the Super Bowl this Sunday between the Rams and the Bengals. In case you missed it, we already have a show up with all of our thoughts breaking down the game, so that is separate. But for those of you who want to dig deeper and go into the prop market, this is the show for you. It's the Prop Action Spectacular, and we're going to break it all down. And I obviously want to push everybody to BettingPros.com and go get our prop cheat sheet that is out there. The prop bet cheat sheet is unbelievable. It takes you right to basically our projection system, which is so good. And then it shows the lines and the places where you could bet where the biggest variance is. So you're getting a chance on the over and the under on these player props to make some cash. And again, you can only find it over at bettingpros.com. And of course, make sure you go over there. You click the little tab that says NFL and you look for the prop bet cheat sheet. And Boggs and I are going to go through here and we're going to get Boggs's takes on all of these as well and get to his opinions on these players. We already gave our opinions on the game. Now it's time to get personal with some of these other ones. And also, I want to remind everybody too, make sure you head over to BetMGM. $10 for any new user. You invest there and you bet it, and you can win 150 in free bets regardless of the outcome. And again, that's any event, so why not make it the Super Bowl over at BetMGM? Sign up today and use that promo code JUICE150. And offer is now available in New York, New Jersey, Colorado, Indiana, West Virginia, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Virginia, Iowa, DC, Arizona, Missouri, and Wyoming. And you know what? I don't know all the state capitals, but I feel like at the end of this promo, one of these years, I'm going to actually know that. But again,
I bet if we sat down, we could get all 50.
I think you're wrong. You would have to get 42 of them. I think if you can get 42, I can squeak out 8.
I think I get 42. So.
You probably could because you're insane. You're the amount of information that your brain can store. Now, granted, I have 2 children.
Oh, so yeah.
A lot of that has dissipated for me.
I'll also forget the important things, like, I had a show to record today. Oh, yeah, I had, right. This meeting.
Pants
in the morning.
Right. I wear pants outside.
I mean, the people at the store get real mad if you forget your pants. So,
I thought that's how you get all the free stuff you get.
Well, they just give it to you and make you go away. So just take it. Just take it. We know you're just here for goldfish and Cool Ranch Doritos, so get the hell out of here. So.
I ain't mad at those snacks. Those are some good snacks right there. Do you have a favorite goldfish, Bachman, by the way? Just like a regular cheddar guy, or like a special?
I like the flavor blasted ones right here because
oh my goodness,
I can share them with Captain. Captain and I.
Oh, that's right.
Both. He won't eat the regular ones if they're not flavor blasted. He doesn't want them. So.
And this is why you watch the
That's
YouTube
right.
channel at Betting Pros. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can watch that free promo.
Gigantic box of flavor blast.
Your Sam's Club Costco flavor blast goldfish.
That'll last me a couple months at least. So that's nice.
A couple months, that's good. I thought you were gonna say a couple days the way you're lining it up there.
No. That was, if it was Cool Ranch Doritos, maybe a week, but the goldfish, that'll last me a month at least. So.
While you're here joining us for Super Bowl props, set your alarms, your calendars, your Apple Watches, your sundials, whatever you use, because this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, our Betting Pros channel over on YouTube is going to have a Super Bowl 56 live stream sponsored by Thrive Fantasy. 1 hour of props, picks, and predictions with the best in the business, Matt Peralt and Scott Bogman. Subscribe and tune in for your chance to win an autographed T. Higgins jersey and $20,000 thanks to Thrive Fantasy. That's this Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on our Betting Pros YouTube channel. So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to go through these player props. Again, make sure you check them out over on bettingpros.com, the prop bet cheat sheet that's available for everybody. It's free, and you can go take a look at some of these potential props to bet on. And let's start with Cam Akers, who's come on of late here, Bogman. The rushing yards for him, the over-under line at Fox Bet is 60.5. The projection for him is 69. So obviously for Cam Akers, it's been a nice upswing. He's seen a lot of the carries. Sony Michel did work a little bit more in that last game, but 60.5. Do you think this number is too big? Do you think he can go over, or is it an under for this number for you?
I'm under on pretty much any number for Cam Akers. I'm not the biggest fan of him in this game, and it's not because he's not a great player. I've always said I think Cam Akers is the best running back in this backfield. So getting him back off the Achilles was huge, but he sprained his AC joint. in his shoulder in the NFC Championship game, which is not a minor injury. He didn't play much after that. He did end up still with more touches than Sony Michel, but Sony Michel got work. They're probably going to numb him up, put him in a sling, all that good stuff. But I just think that Michel is going to see a decent amount of carries in this game as well, especially if Akers has any issues early. So I'm just not going to be comfortable betting the over. I can't remember. Maybe his receiving yards that might be low. He could get that more on maybe one catch. We saw him have the 40-yarder in the game earlier this year. I think that was the first game against Arizona in the playoffs here. But yeah, I'm going to be an under on pretty much every Cam Akers number because I just don't trust him to stay healthy and be on the field the whole game.
Ironically, the same number for Joe Mixon, 60.5. So you on the over or the underside of this one. The projection has him at 68 as an over, but I'm with you on Cam Akers on the under. I'm not so sure about Mixon, though, on the over-under. I want to go over on this, but I'm a little afraid of this number. I feel like it's spot on.
So there's an interesting, there's an and I can't remember who tweeted it out. Forgive me. I've read so many Super Bowl things this week, but it was that Joe Mixon barely played on any third downs in the last game. It's all Samaje Perine obviously scored the touchdown too. So I think this number I'm still good with the over for, just because Mixon can rip off a big one here and there. And I'd rather probably take his combined yards if we can get that number. I would probably rather do that. But I think that rush yard, I think that's a great number. And I think if I'm playing anything, I would go over it.
Yeah, I'm staying away from this one. I'm with you on the under on Akers, but I'm with you with the combined one for Mixon. If you can find a combined one that you like,
I'd rather play the combined than the rushing.
Well, we had a lot of success over the last couple of weeks doing that with Debo, where we shied away from the individuals and just played the combined, and we basically were right every time on that one. Let's go to the next one here. Jamar Chase, star wide receiver, going to be a huge star in the league. We all think he probably is already. 78.5 receiving yards. That's the number. The projection has him at 85, Boggs. What do you think? Do you think this is, again, that one big play from Jamar Chase, 78.5? Can he go over?
Yeah, I think if I'm playing, I don't really like the number. I don't like playing the big wide receivers. I probably won't play Cooper Kupp either in this game just because those numbers are hard to hit. You get locked up in one day, you pull a hammy, you do whatever it is. It's just hitting a number is hard enough. Hitting a big number is really hard. So, but these are the guys you expect to do it. So anytime you want to bet the over on Chase, you want to bet the over on Kupp, I'm right there behind you saying, do it. If you think he's going to do it, do it. These are the guys that do it. I just have a hard time betting those higher numbers. I'd rather take a secondary guy with a lower total. So for me, I'm gonna not bet this number, but if I am betting it on these big guys, I'm always going with the over. Life's too short to bet the under, right?
I like that. Let's go to Cooper Kupp. Let's jump ahead. Okay. I know he's like number 17 on the list, but since we're talking about him, to heck with it, let's talk about him. 105.5 is the number. Last week it was, or 2 weeks ago, I should say now, 99 was the number. We both took the over. This is at 105.5. I got 2 words for you. Eli Apple. It's an over for me. I'm taking the over on this one. No number's too big for me with Cooper Kupp. I mean, you look at what he's done, how many times he's gone over 100 this season. I think he's absolutely capable of that. I just feel like this is their game plan. This is your bread and butter. You're going to stick to it. And to me, 105.5 is a lot. I think the projection's low at 107, to be honest with you. I think this is at least a 110, maybe even a 115 game for him. I think it's that big of a variance because no team so far has been able to stop this guy. Right. And I don't think that this cornerback situation, even with the safety help, is going to be able to, because nobody seems to want to give safety help for Cooper Kupp. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell everybody's problem is. But to me, this is an over. But where do you stand on this 105.5 number on Cooper Kupp?
Once again, probably not betting this number because 105.5 is a crazy amount. But if I am betting something, I'm going to just bet on these guys that keep showing up. Jamar Chase keeps showing up. Cooper Kupp keeps showing up. I will take the over on both of those. Most of the time, when you have a number this big, it's over 100 yards, right? I go, all right, well, what's his receptions record, receptions prop at? Because if that's at like 6 and he's sitting here for 105.5, I'll pivot towards that because we're already expecting him to get a bunch of yards, probably going to get a decent amount of targets and catches with those yards. But for the Super Bowl, I think, what is it, 8.5?
Receptions
Joe?
Is 8.5. Yeah,
that's too many. Yeah, so between those two, if I'm making one bet on Cooper Kupp, it's the yards and it's the over. Receptions, if I had to bet that, once again, I'm going to take the over because the guy has been unstoppable recently. But I think I like the yards more than I like the receptions.
I think he gets double-digit receptions. I think this is a 10 spot for him, which is why I like that number, and I'm going to go over the 8.5 for the receptions prop there, too. So Cooper Kupp out of the way. Look at that. We just burned through the Cooper Kupp there. Let's talk about the QBs a little bit, shall we? Let's go around here and let's talk a little Matthew Stafford. Passing yards for him, 279.5 is the number. The projection's 284.9. So what do you think? Are we over or under for 279.5 for Stafford?
Matt Stafford might as well be the Notre Dame of pro quarterbacks for me. Remember, I kept whiffing on Notre Dame this year. Yeah, it's kind of the same.
In all fairness, you're right the ship at the end.
Yeah,
you
but
really
then they
did that last month of the
their
season.
Fiesta
and then
Bowl.
they did choke in the Fiesta. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to take the under on this. Look, he went over last week when I said he was going to go under, but he's been under recently. So I'm going to take the under this number. But I honestly, like I said, I haven't been great at Matt Stafford's number this year, so I am not going to bet it. But if I had to pick something, I would take the under.
All right, now if you guys are going to bet out there, we've got an amazing thing going on too, because we've got the offers at bettingpros.com/offers. There's so many offers, all under $20, where you could basically deposit anywhere from $5 to $20, and you get opportunities to wager on the Super Bowl, wager on props. There's so many different offers there. Find the one that works best for you over at bettingpros.com/offers, and then you are on your way. And again, there's so many of them. It's so cool that we were doing this. And we basically condense them onto one spot, so you can just go right to it. And I'm sure one of these opportunities you have is to bet on somebody like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a very popular wager all across the board right now. The passing number for him, 276.5. That's the over-under. The projection's at 272. So this one's very close here. This is a stay away from me, Box. I got to tell you, I don't have a feel for this one. If I'm going to go over-under on Stafford, I'm going to go under because, once again, I just feel like that first quarter comes out a little sloppy. Then after that, the Cooper Kupp show takes over. But I think 280, you got to be good for 4 quarters to really get to. Same thing with Burrow. I think I'm going to go slightly under this one if I had to lean. But Burrow's the one that concerns me more than Stafford.
I'm actually the other way around, probably just because I've whiffed on Stafford. But I would take the over on Joe Burrow too, because I do expect them to be down in this game at some point, which is why I would take the over on his rushing yards too. You know, this is the game where you start to kind of lay it all out, and we've seen Burrow take off every once in a while too. So if you're thinking in terms of 2-minute drives at the end of the game, it's a lot of garbage yards. You're taking those short underneath throws, and then you get some yak after that. So you're adding probably 65 to 70 yards on your total if you are in one of those, and your last-minute drive either gets you close enough or is successful in scoring. So in terms of Joe Burrow, I think just because I do expect him to be down in this game because I expect the Rams to win it, I will go with the over on his passing yards.
All right, let's go with Odell Beckham receiving yards. 69.5 is the number. The projection's at 62. Boggs is awful close. I'm going to take the under on this one if I continue on with the Cooper Kupp game, but I do think Odell is going to score a touchdown on this one. So if you get like a single scoring prop on a touchdown for somebody, I do think Odell will find the end zone. But 65.5 is the number. The projection's 62. I lean the under. What say you, Boggs?
I'm going to go with the over on Odell.
Okay.
He has been outstanding
in
this playoff run and really showed out in the NFC Championship game. And, he is becoming more and more trustworthy towards Stafford as well. So if we're betting OBJ, I'm definitely taking the over. You said it was 69.5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go the over on OBJ.
65.5, excuse me.
I mean, even better. I'm going over that on Odell for sure.
Yeah, I think he's going to be like in the 50s. I think that's where he's going to land there. Once again, a little lackluster first quarter. I just feel like everybody comes out flat early on. Everyone's just too hyped up. Everyone's just, a little 3 and out here. It's very rare you see like right out of the gate, boom, is gangbusters in the Super Bowl. People got to shake the rust off a little bit from not playing. It's the Super Bowl. Everyone's got the little bit of the yips going on there. We'll see, though. My favorite bet is coming back around. If you recall, one of my favorite bets on the board was the Joe Burrow over on the rushing yards. I talked about it on the TV show ad nauseum. 8.5. 8.5. He's going to get that on one run.
Right.
Well, now it's 10.5. So they upped it by 2 yards. I'm still over on this.
Way
this is still
over.
my favorite. player prop on the board. He's going to be running for his life in this game, and Joe Burrow can run. And in fact, I think if Joe Burrow is going to keep the Bengals alive in this football game, he's going to have to, on some third and longs, when that pressure comes from Von Miller and Aaron Donald and company, he's going to have to escape the pocket and run for 15 yards. And those kind of runs are backbreaking. They are game-changing. They are momentum-shifting runs. So I am over on the 10.5, Boggs, and it sounds like you are with me.
Yeah, I mean, this is an easy bet.
Too low.
This is one of my favorite bets, like you just said. Yeah, I mean, once again, we mentioned it before. The big mismatch of this game is the Rams' defensive line versus the Cincinnati Bengals' offensive line. So he's going to have to bail out and run for his life at least 3 or 4 times in this game. Mm-hmm. So that 10.5, I think he's going to hit that in the first half, dude. They might even design an RPO and run it early in the game just to get that in the Rams defense's brain a little bit. It doesn't have to be successful, but you run a couple of those, on your first, 2 to 3 drives, and now it's sitting in the back of their brain for the second half. So yeah, I think Burrow, that's an easy total for him.
Oh, it's something he did so well at LSU too. I mean, we watched him.
Has issues sliding, but
yeah,
he's starting to get it. He's starting to get it.
He's starting to get it. It's starting to happen. It's all coming together.
That's right.
All right. So we're all good on that one. Let's go passing touchdowns. Let's stick with Joe Burrow here. 1.5 for him. Over under on the passing touchdowns for Joe Burrow in this game.
Yeah, I think you have to go over. I know I'm taking the under in this game, but I'm thinking like a 27-20 type of a game, 27-21, somewhere in that neighborhood where, Burrow's going to get his touchdowns. And if you get down there close, you do have a weapon in Mixon. But come on, I mean, you want the ball in Burrow's hands, so I'll go over the 1.5.
I'm going to stay away on this one. Don't like it. Too many different variations here, and I think it's more of a lower scoring game. I like the under in this game. I know you do too, but I've got more of a 24-20 kind of scenario going here. So I think the script I'm writing is they end up settling for field goals because on some of these third downs, when they bring pressure, that offensive line is Swiss cheese, and that's going to be a problem sometimes. So it's going to knock them out of situations in the red zone into field goal kicking instead, which is not where you want to be. So I'm out on that one. Where any, in terms of props and things that you see out there, Bog, is there something out there that I know we zeroed in on the Joe Burrow one, but is there one or two specifically that you're really hot on to, whether it be a lesser player like maybe a Van Jefferson? We didn't talk about T. Higgins yet either. We could talk about
Higgins.
him. What's the Higgins thoughts for you?
Well, okay, so there's a couple things with Higgins. Number one, if you are going to give Ramsey, Chase, and the whole game, if you're going to do that, it's going to be more difficult matchup for Chase. Now, look, we saw Mike Evans smoke Jalen Ramsey, right? Ramsey's still the best corner in the league.
Ramsey's a great corner.
Any corner can get beat.
Absolutely.
Any of them.
I think that gets under discussed. I'm glad you're saying it because it happens all the time.
Well, it's not like Mike Evans is, a burner. He's a size guy, 6'6", and he got past Jalen Ramsey. So Chase is a little bit of both, great physical. And he can also torch you. So, I'm not so worried about that. But okay, so who we got on Higgins, right? We got, Mike Hilton on the outside. So now this is probably more Eli Apple is on Higgins, and Eli Apple will get. He's burnt toast, man. I mean, that he's going to get smoked. And we also, I know Uzomah expects to play. How limited is he going to be? Probably fairly limited. So I would take the over on Higgins. If Uzomah, it's tough to say about Boyd's total because I think his number is 39.5, if I'm not mistaken, Joe. It's hard to say on his total. I'm probably going to stick with the under on Boyd just because he's been a little underutilized, especially if Uzomah plays. Because as of today, as we're recording this, Uzomah said he's day-to-day expecting to play the Super Bowl. So you expect they give him the goofballs. He's good to go and playing the Super Bowl like normal. Then I really like the under on Boyd, but over on Higgins for sure. That's probably
Are you over
favorite.
On the receptions or the receiving yards or both? The receiving yards is 70.5.
70.5, I'm over on the yards for sure. The receptions, what is it, 5?
We'll look here. If you have it, yes, it's 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. I'm probably not touching 5.5. So, but I'll go the over on yards for sure.
What about anything with Tyler Boyd too? I mean, since he's become the forgotten man, is there anything to the under on the 39.5 receiving yards?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was just saying about because the Uzomah thing. Right. Like, I really like the under if Uzomah is expecting to play and he's expecting to play as we're recording this now. So I'll go the under on the Boyd yards too.
Yeah. And look, there's so many things out there. There's the picks
I
and
think
the props.
somewhere, I don't know where, if you can get Von Miller for anything, under
We
a,
can get him
a
for
sack and a
a
half,
sack. Yeah.
I'm taking it. I think he gets at
You
least
want the
2
one and a
too.
half or just
I mean,
the
I think the number is 0.75. So
I was gonna say I think it's 0.7. Yeah, I was
I
gonna
will
say it's even a full one.
crush that over on Von Miller getting that. He's getting it for sure. It might get that
I
in
think
the
he's
first
getting a
half.
sack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, Von
That
Miller's just
to
a
me on the
beast, and he's
defensive side.
turning it on. Donald too. I mean, Donald.
Well, it's a perfect scenario for him because
Yeah.
really, at this point in his career, he's not the same player he was. And you and I did the IDP show at Fantasy Pros all year together.
Yeah.
And how many times we're coming there, it's like, we have to drop this guy in our rankings. We can't keep running him out there. And then he gets dealt, and then it takes him a little while to kind of get up to speed. But he has gotten up to speed, and it's been very clear. Like, this is your job. You rush the quarterback, and then you come off the field other times, and it's worked. They've really rejuvenated him, and this is what he should be at this point in his career, don't you think?
Yes, I do. If you had to pick one defensive player to score in this game, who's it going to be?
Oh my goodness gracious, that is a tricky one. Defensive player to score, man. Jalen Ramsey. Yeah.
Because you want to go. Yeah, I mean, you want to go to Chase
because he's got that pick six kind of ability. Like if he is going to catch, like you can't go with a. You can't go with a linebacker necessarily because those guys, you got to get somebody who's got good enough speed that if there is a turnover, they can make a move or two and bust through.
I go Mike Hilton. If I'm picking one,
Hilton's not a bad one either.
It's the nickel corner for the Bengals, Mike Hilton. He's the guy that against Tannehill popped the ball up into his own hands and then grabbed it. So I think it could be something where it bounces off somebody's hands. You get it to Mike Hilton, and he is fast. So I think if I'm picking one defensive player to score, and of course that's where my brain goes, being a Steelers fan, is to the defense. I think in Hilton, the former Steeler. So I think that's the guy I would pick.
Well, that's the fun of the Super Bowl, is that there's so many different options, right?
Yeah,
we already told you about the offers thing we got at bettingpros.com/offers where you could go invest. We talked about the prop bet cheat sheet that's available at Betting Pros. We talked about the squares, actually, which you didn't even talk about today, which everybody does the squares, and you can run them for free at bettingpros.com/squares, and all of a sudden just set up your work squares, your family square, however many squares pools you want to run, you can run them all for free. And it's great. You send the link out to everybody. It's free. They go in there. You get live updates every quarter. And then you have the winner at the end. I mean, it's perfect. You don't have to go to the store and get your did you call it poster board or oak tag? This is like different regions
poster
call it different things. Poster board. For some reason in New York, New Jersey, it was oak tag. And I don't understand why.
Isn't that like the inline online?
I have no idea. Like it's like pop and soda and like Jimmy's and sprinkles, I believe, is that conversation.
Jimmy's? I've never heard sprinkles called Jimmy's ever.
Oh yeah. All kinds of places. I'm surprised. I thought in Texas, where you are, I thought they would call them Jimmy's. They call them sprinkles?
I mean, I've never heard them called Jimmy's. So.
They have called them Jimmy's in a lot of places. Go Google it. You'll find that out. Also, because we don't stop here at Betting Pros. Well, Bogman and I are going to stop. But on Sunday, on game day, 11 a.m., right here, we're going to have a Super Bowl live stream going on, too. So check that out over at Betting Pros. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Betting Pros. That way you can get involved and watch that, too. There's going to be some great information on that. We're taking you right up to the kickoff time. So that's going on Sunday at 11. You got the squares. You got the bettingpros.com offers. You got the prop bet cheat sheet. I mean, we're just giving you all the tools to be successful here. So hopefully you're out there and you're crushing it, enjoying the game and getting involved however you want. And don't forget, too, we got that other one going on. BetMGM, $10. You go ahead on any event for new users and you win $150 in free bets regardless of the outcome right now. But use the promo code JUICE150 when you do. Again, that's JUICE150 over at BetMGM. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see you next time, kids.